Hi, this is Matthew Robert Payne, and this is uh, a new chapter in a book. The book is called 71 Helpful Writing Habits You Can Learn from Self-Publishing 91 Books. This is chapter 53, and it's called Mention Your Close Friends That Read All Your Books. I have made a point of mentioning some of my close friends that read all my books, in my books. As a close friend of a few people who've read most of my books, I'm aware of their life and I'm aware of what's happening in their life and some of their personal stories. And I have included uh, uh, them in illustrations that I've made in some of my books, and I've had them comment that they were mentioned and they were happy that they were mentioned. So that's just like sharing a quote in your book from someone else. You're sharing a story from someone else's life and you're mentioning it in your book. It's a way of putting your friend in the acknowledgements of your book, but rather than listing them just as a name in your acknowledgements, you're telling a story in a book that's going to impact other people, and they will be aware that the way that you used a story about them in your book means that their story is going to impact people and help people understand the lesson that you're trying to teach. I wouldn't focus on including your friends in all of your books. I'm not saying that in this chapter. What I am saying, though, is in your intuition, in the creative part of yourself, don't be afraid to use the stories of your friends in illustrations in your book. You can name them by name, and my friends that I have mentioned in my books appreciated being named by their name, and this is both encouraging for the reader and encouraging for your friend that eventually reads the book. There's so many lessons that you can glean from close friends of yours, and they can speak into your life and share things with your life that impact you and encourage you. And one way of sharing that you're happy with their friendship is sharing in a book that you really love them. I've talked about the two women that impacted me and used to read my books as soon as they come out and wrote a review. And their names, the older lady, older than me, was called Mary Gibson, and she was a great encouragement to me. And she loved the preacher Kat Kerr. And if you've heard of the preacher Kat Kerr, you'll know a little bit about Mary Gibson because she followed her really incessantly. She used to follow all my books for quite a while, and she was a real encouragement. I had another younger friend closer to my age called Andrea, and we used to talk on Facebook phone, which is really cheap. And we used to talk on Facebook phone nearly every day. And she was a close and dear friend of mine until we had a disagreement over something, and we couldn't come to rectify the disagreement, and we broke fellowship. And she was a good friend. And if you read books from a few years ago, you'll see Andrea's reviews on the front page. I've got a friend, Dundee, who I talked about, who is an airline pilot who flies for a major airline company in America, and he had trouble with getting flights off the company because of coronavirus, and he was under a tremendous amount of stress, and that stopped him from having the ability to edit my books. But he's a very encouraging Christian and one of my closest friend. He is my closest friend, and he's read nearly every one of my books and written reviews on them. And I've got another friend, Roy, who is part of a mission organization who sends Kindle devices to hundreds of missionaries, and the Kindle devices have over 1,000 books on them, so missionaries can receive them in the mail and have hundreds and hundreds of hours worth of reading on a Kindle that can be charged up in the country that they are. He does a wonderful job. So I've got some wonderful friends, and be sure to mention them in the books that you're writing.